All right. I need to read my little script.
Okay.
I'm William. I'm going to be walking you through this session today. Before we begin, I have some info and a couple questions for you. I'm going to read it to make sure I cover everything. We're asking you to try an application that you already know about that we've been working on to see whether it works as intended. The session should take about 30-40 minutes. First thing I want to make clear right away is that we're testing the app and not you. You can't do anything wrong here. And also, please don't worry that you're going to hurt our feelings. We're doing this to improve the app, and we need your honest reactions to the good, the bad, and especially the ugly.
Okay.
As you use the app, I'm going to ask you as much as possible to try and think out loud, to say what you're looking at, what you think you're trying to do, and what you're thinking. This will be a big help to us. If you have any questions as we go along, feel free to ask them. I might not be able to answer them right away since we're interested in how people do when they don't have someone sitting next to them to help them. But if you have questions at the end, we'll have like a little powwow at the end, and we'll answer all your questions.
Okay.
You might have noticed that there's a camera pointing at the iPhone. With your permission, we're going to record what happens on the iPhone screen and capture a conversation. The recording will not be posted online. It will only be viewed by the guilty people over there that are working on the app. And you already signed the permission slip, so away we go. So this would, where you're landing right here, this would be the screen that you would land on after you would download the app and click the icon on your desktop that launches the app.
Okay.
So be pretty on board.
Got it. Do I need to register or join you, or is it already assumed that I'm in there?
No.
Oh, okay. So I'd have to. Okay.
So think of, let me go back. So two things. One, this is wireframe, so a lot of this is not active, like you can't type things in.
Okay.
But you can tap on the field to pretend you're typing in.
Yeah. All right.
The buttons are active. You'll notice that I can't tap that one and do that because the whole thing's tappable. If you tap a certain section of the screen, the buttons will light up and kind of give you a hint as to where the buttons are.
Right.
And what I'd like you to do is think back to when you were first diagnosed. If you had just discovered this app right after being diagnosed,
right,
and your frame of mind and what you were thinking and what you were experiencing, and would this help you?
Okay.
So pretend that you can input your email and password.
And then just hit this?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that would be like a splash screen. So that would eventually go away by itself. So you can just tap that too.
People actually log in with Facebook when they were first diagnosed with cancer. I'm sure a certain age group would do that.
Millennials.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gen Xers.
Look at me. Gen Xers. Or Gen Y. Build a profile, patient, guardian, caregiver, supporter. I should just hit everything that I would want to fill in.
Yeah, you can just
all right.
Tap pretend.
Okay.
You can see how when you tap the buttons light up. So
yeah.
It gives you an indication where.
Got it. It's depressing. Yeah.
Always depressing.
This is your first time having cancer. Imagine for a lot of people it's not. See, I'm thinking about like when I first was told, and I was told when I was on the phone by my primary care physician.
Mhm.
So I had already gone to get the biopsy. But when I found out on the phone, if I had just downloaded this app, I wouldn't know anything about. I mean, I would know about radiation and chemotherapy just from maybe past experience with family having cancer, but I wouldn't know at that moment whether or not, even if I would have to have more radical types of surgery, than what I actually had. Oh,
That would be a loading screen, so you just have
got it. I probably wouldn't.
I'll give you a little explanation on this page.
Yeah.
So this would be the landing page. This might not be relevant right now.
Mm-hmm.
This would be an archive of questions that you were saving to ask your doctor.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm keeping it kind of prominent and a reminder to finish filling out your profile, because your profile actually dictates like the content. So the more filled out and more accurate this is, the better the treatment
And
suggestions, more accurate they are.
and where are the questions?
They were in the onboarding, so if you said
okay.
unsure of something,
Got it.
then that would populate to that panel. And if
Oh,
you had
got it.
more than one, you could just tap it, and that panel would expand. So you walk into the doctor's office, you tap it, it would expand out, and you go, was I positive for this? Was I,
Mm-hmm.
and you go through the list of questions with them,
Right.
and that would help build your profile.
Got it.
So a lot of times, like profiles where they ask those questions, where do they go afterwards?
Got it. Like where are they stored?
Yeah.
Right. How do I get to that? That's helpful.
So I wanted to surface them a little bit higher.
That's good. Is this the only question that I had from that was kind of populated from my questionnaire?
It's just kind of a placeholder question.
Oh, it's okay.
So if the idea is like if you were to tap that, the whole thing could slide down, and it could be like you could have 10 questions. And 20
Oh,
questions in
okay.
here.
So there's no indication as how many questions I had from that on here, but
No,
you
we
would
could
pull
put
it
an
down.
indicator. That would be a good suggestion.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of anxiety. there's a lot of anxiety, like, oh, you don't want to take too much of their time, but you want to take as much time as you need. So if you have an idea that you have 10 questions, it's going to take some time. Recommended for your. And this 50% completion for the current profile, does that suggest that maybe you would want to go and complete it?
Yes.
All right. And it's everything from like a photo to knowledge library. What's that?
What do you think of that page?
I think it's good. I think that if it would go, I mean, it's nice to have the basics. What is cancer? Common myths and misconceptions. I think that that's really nice, especially if they pertain to the type of cancer that you've, indicated that you actually have, that it's not all the different cancers, like, well, for colon cancer, it's this, and for breast cancer, it's that. But if it's actually specific to yours, that would be very good.
That's the whole point of the profile is like the more information you give us, the more accurate we can be in giving you information about the treatments around you,
right?
The clinical trials, the evidence-based medicine, and the best doctors in the area, that sort of thing.
Yeah. I think it's good to go from like, what is cancer, something like that. Like like a large question, and then all to the specific, like questions to ask your doctor, because then it just kind of goes from the large to the personal, like the impersonal to the personal, and then it brings it back to you instead of it going into just research mode. If that makes sense.
Yep.
I
was looking at it from the perspective like basic overview, and then educate them down the funnel to like the nitty gritty details to where you're like, oh yes, I could tell you about this chemotherapy drug because
right. Yep, exactly. How are you gonna feel afterwards? Yeah. What are the photos for?
There would be just photos of the articles.
Oh, okay.
I just put the photo in there initially, and then I plugged in the two dudes.
Hey, dudes.
Dudettes.
Yeah. Yeah. Chic chicks. Come on. Same with. So these are the other two things that they said that I should that were recommended for me. But what if I don't want to look at them now? Can I go back somewhere or look something else up? How would I start building my own, or broadening my own profile? Or is that it from the initial questions? Like if I knew what type of breast cancer I had, is there a way to go in and put that in?
Yeah, I mean, like if you went for here, this would start to winnow it down more because evidence-based treatments are
Really any of the base. Right.
But it's really, what's been tested and proven.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's based on your profile information that helps us determine or recommend the best treatment for you to talk to your doctor about.
Got it. Do you think everybody would know that? Yeah. I don't think so either.
Would you say that evidence-based treatment is too jargony?
I think it's a little an evidence-based treatment plan. Like I think about that. I don't know if your average person would know what that meant. Like it sounds too like academic. Which is not a bad thing necessarily, but I don't know if I would say like my plan, not my.
It's really interesting because I think doctors look at it and go, "We're going to have the best thing available." That is evidence-based treatment.
Of course.
And they're all thinking scientifically and numbers and statistics and how many survive this. This is the best thing for you. And then the clinical jargon ends up alienating the people that it's meant for.
Right. I think so, definitely to a certain extent. It makes sense, but then there are also complementary treatments that people want to hear about. And I think that from a scientific point of view, that makes sense, but also there are people who want to know about all the different things that they could possibly do, not just the evidence-based things.
Yep.
Whether we agree with that or not.
Doctors are a tough crowd to pitch that.
Oh my gosh, yes. I worked for a neurologist for 8 years.
Yeah, you told me that.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Go anywhere near a clinical trial.
Nope. I mean, if I was fighting for my life, I probably would, but that's good. Mm. It's very educational. I like it. Mm. Mm. Oh,
What did it jump too far?
I don't think I did. I'm curious about that one though. I go there. $261 weeks. Is that 5 years? Or that's the aromatase inhibitor. Sorry. Oh, I did it again.
No, it's my fault.
Sorry.
Bad code. Bad design.
Well.
That's what I get for coding it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm actually at 5 years out on tamoxifen. So this month I was supposed. Initially, they told me you'll be off tamoxifen in 5 years, and now they want you to be on tamoxifen for 10 years.
I remember you saying that.
No, but
I was stunned. Like you were like 4 years, this many months, this many hours.
I know, yeah,
seconds.
yeah. Well, you feel like you graduated, like
Yeah.
it's just kind of like, oh, I did it, I got through it. But
those are just placeholder articles.
Yeah.
So all of those articles.
But I want to use it. Come on, big tease. Okay.
Can you talk about the font and content of the placeholder articles?
No, not yet.
The font?
Yes. What do you think of the font sizes? Let me show you 2 pages.
Sure.
So from length of article perspective and font size, what do you think of this page?
I think since it's a relatively long article, that it's nice that the font size is this large. If it was, it's a little less intimidating. Yeah, and the breakup with the illustrations, and it's really good. Related topics, yep, good. Oh, complimentary. And what was the other thing she asked?
We were
Font.
just kind of doing a compare and contrast. The other one is.
Oh,
What do you think of the font there compared to the other page?
it's fine. I don't think it needs to be any bigger than that, especially if it's just. Or is this the final screen though of what you're looking at? That's all right. I think for articles it's different. You just want to be longer, but I like how it's kind of broken up by these headers. It makes it fine. And you're going to actually show how these words are actually spoken, or how you pronounce them.
No, we were thinking that we read the whole article to you.
Oh, interesting.
There was feedback last time from
Really?
Molly that she said she couldn't read because of the neuropathy
Mm.
from the chemo treatments.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking, all right, it's the 21st century. Why don't we have the app read to you?
That's pretty great. If you need it. I mean, she had a completely different, we all have such unique experiences.
Just a quick question.
Yeah, sure. Sorry.
Do you own an iPad?
Yep.
Okay. Do you carry your iPad with you?
No.
So would you take your iPad to see your doctor?
Probably not. I'll probably use my phone. Because I've recorded all of my appointments, like vocal recordings,
Mhm.
and then I would listen to them later and take notes off of them of the things that I needed.
Okay.
Um,
That's the other thing that made it into for the next release is voice recording.
yeah, it's a good idea. They recommend it all the time because you're so overwhelmed. Even if somebody else is there, I know it's good to just have all of the. UCLA was great like that, though, I have to say. They gave you everything that you needed in order to have something comprehensive like this. It just was, in paper format. And so you had to kind of bridge it all together. Was there going to be a way within this app to be able to record your appointments?
Yeah.
That's good. And be able to catalog them. Will they be able to scan them? Like those voice recordings for certain notes that you want to take out? For like, say, if you had a question based on that recording that you weren't able to ask at that visit, that it could be a place where you could take notes to.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
For the next visit or email
Yeah,
or whatever it was.
So there'll be a place where you can archive questions from the app itself.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be a place where you can take notes.
Also a place to scan in your paper documents from your appointments, your paper notes.
Mm.
Keep it all in one place.
That's good. Is there like a community board on here or anything like that for other people that you're able to connect with necessarily?
Eventually, yes.
Yeah, who'll have the same diagnosis
Didn't
or.
quite make it in phase one.
No,
Of wireframe.
Oh yeah, on the wireframe.
Slacker artist.
What is this stuff? Treatment contents, optional boosts. Oh, it's just, okay, got it.
So the idea right there was if there was a longer article, you could pop that open, tap one of those, and it would auto scroll down.
Yeah.
If you just wanted to see
to that one instead of just all of them.
radiation
Yeah.
side effects alone.
Instead of having to do that, that's good. What are these icons going to be? Just whatever.
Those will anchor to the bottom of the page, right here, and those will be your bookmarking, sharing,
good.
note features.
Mm-hmm. It's so comprehensive. I think it seems very comprehensive to me. And will the app auto, I know that when I was working at UCLA, that in order to get into the New England Journal of Medicine, say, to get certain articles, like you'd have to have a subscription.
Mhm.
Like, are there going to be articles that pertain to these different cancers that people are going to be able to pull from this app?
Yeah, the articles that we're going to have will be we're starting out with NCI. So we're working with them, and then there's also going to be the American Cancer Institute. So those are the two that we're working with right now. So I believe we've secured NCI, and we're working with the other American Cancer Institute.
That's great.
And then we'll expand it from there.
But to your point, the goal is once you're on board in the Cancer Connect community, you have access to it relevant to you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now, having looked at the app and looking back at your personal experience, like the timeline from when you felt something was going on to your appointment, to your diagnosis, to your treatment, do you think this app would have helped you?
I do. I do think it would have helped me instead of, just randomly going online, because all of my physician advised me not to go online. because you could just freak yourself out completely before you had any evidence of what was going on with you. But I do think that to feel that I was trying to be proactive in my decisions about what was happening with me, it would be nice to just have something this centralized. I do think that would have been very helpful and maybe given me a sense of empowerment. I know that because you're inundated with so much information that, in your day-to-day life, you think you'll be able to retain it all. But when you're completely freaked out and not knowing whether you're going to live or die or go broke, then it's nice to have the support of something like this and not another person, to really have like an archive of your experience that is it's pretty just straightforward. Because I found for me, I just went through the check boxes of what I needed to do to get through the cancer diagnosis. And then it was 6 months later that you deal with kind of the emotional, psychological aftermath of that. So to have something like this would have been very helpful for me at the time. So having a spiral from like 1976.
Can you please elaborate more on what you mean by psychological aftermath?
Well, I mean, just the fact that I think when I was diagnosed, I just wanted to get it out. It was like, get it out, get through the treatment. I wasn't sharing a lot of the complexities, the emotional complexities of what was going on with me, whether it was, oh my gosh, am I going to die? Is my relationship going to hold up? I live so far away from members of my family. Am I going to be able to reconnect with them? What's this going to do to my career? All those types of things. Like I got into survival mode, whereas I didn't think of all those other aspects of a diagnosis until I knew that I was safe. I had the surgery. I was starting, my radiation treatment. I was going to go on tamoxifen. And I think somehow like you suppress a lot of the fear just so that you can get through the things that are really hard, just the pain of it all. I mean, just the physical pain of it all. And I had 2 surgeries and radiation. I didn't have to have reconstruction or chemo or lose my hair or any of that kind of stuff. But there were still psychological effects of a diagnosis at 40, whereas because I had a major family history of cancer. But you don't think that you're going to get diagnosed at 40. Think like, maybe I'll die from it when I'm 65 or 70. So, but who knows? Like maybe having this app and it being so succinct, it would have allowed me to delve into some of those emotional or psycho-emotional issues sooner. Because I wouldn't have been trying so ardently to make sense of my diagnosis. Right? It'd be like, oh, this could take me a few days, maybe a week to get through, whereas it took me 4 months during my diagnosis with all the different, because my appointments were spread out. So like I found the tumor. I made an appointment with my primary care physician a week later. Got the diagnosis, had to go to another appointment to get a biopsy.
Did they do a referral or anything like that?
Yeah,
So
like, it just stretched it out. And there was a definite sense of urgency, but it's just, you're not getting in tomorrow necessarily. So from the time I saw my primary care physician to the time that I was diagnosed with cancer was about 2 weeks. And then I saw my oncologist a week later, and then my surgery was 4 weeks, 4 weeks after that. And that was my decision to have the surgery be 4 weeks after I had my initial visit with the surgical oncologist. she said, well, I have openings in 3 weeks, or we can do it next month. And so I'm like, wait, why isn't this like why aren't you just doing it tomorrow? But I didn't have an aggressive cancer. Anyway, so it was so piecemeal over a couple of months that I was able to get the information that I could actually put in here.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah. But,
because you didn't know all the questions you wanted to ask, or you didn't get an appointment to get you talk to the doctor?
well, like I didn't know if my cancer was estrogen or progesterone positive. Like I didn't know I had a hormonally positive cancer. I knew I had cancer, but I didn't know what type of cancer I had. So then it's like you have to go through all the tests in order to find that out, and that all just takes time. So yeah, and I mean I had certain, and I was pretty active in trying to ask questions about my cancer, but then also I wanted to ask questions about, like, well, how long do I have to, not be at work? It's like, or should I still work? Is it better to work, or is it better not to work? Like, how do they say I might get fatigued. Should I take a nap every day, or should I use the $25 ointment, or should I use aloe from the local Whole Foods? Like there are a lot of questions besides,
Just the medical stuff.
yeah, these. And I do think that would be a really, if someone were to come here, or somewhere to go to Sims Manor to a lecture on nutrition or something, for people to be able to put that information in here, have it centralized, would be, instead of like, oh, it's in my notes in my iPhone, but to be able to integrate all these things together, your own research, and then all this evidence-based research that you're giving people access to, to try to have people have a comprehensive source for everything that they're learning and that they're going through.
What's the ultimate goal?
Yeah, be incredibly helpful for people.
Yeah, we have another app that's nutrition, exercise, tracking, everything. So we're looking at hybriding too, or adding it in. So if you have hypertensive diet or hypertension, you can go on a hypertension diet. You're diabetic, type 2 diabetes or metabolic syndrome, you could adopt that as a specific diet. Same thing here, cancer diet. Try and tune the two together with this, so it's like hitting all the bases at once. Yeah, but see, I was young. That's what they kept telling me. Oh my God, you're so young to have cancer. But at the same time, I was still kind of in like childbearing years, but I didn't have, I wasn't on like some heart medication because I had high blood pressure. But I mean, there are a lot of people who may or may not use this app that have other illnesses as well, so it can become pretty complicated. Yeah, because endless what you can do with this, really. I don't know where to go from here on the app. You don't know where?
It's not letting me go anywhere.
Oh. Why is it being pestered?
I don't know. It's not that I don't want
There we go.
to play with the phone.
That's the one
oh, okay, right. So this and this are going to be the same thing? Oh, no, this is just an article. Okay. I do like how the icons are big, and it's not like you look at your phone and you have like 12 on one screen. I like that they're larger headers, and I like that. Almost reads like a magazine.
Yep.
I like that a lot.
That was the idea.
Mm,
That's like,
no, it's gonna work either. Okay.
I think you've covered everything we've got in there.
I know. I'm like, where else can I go?
That's a good sign.
What else you got in here?
What else do you want in there?
Well, I think that what I mentioned about the research that you do yourself, you know, or if you take a class, or if you come to a lecture, or if you go and see. Like, I know that I was told, you know, cardio is key, you know, in your recovery. You just need, or you should see a nutritionist just so that you can have the baseline of, you know, what a healthy diet is, healthy lifestyle is. If you can, you know, and they say, oh yeah, coconut oil, or even just anything that helps you to remember what you can do to help yourself, I think.
Okay.
would be good.
Things outside of the normal protocol matter.
Yes. Yes. And I know that this is a tool for you to be able to speak with your doctor, you know, and to research things intelligently and to get all the information that pertain to your specific diagnoses. That's fabulous. But I just think that that's a part of the puzzle where the patient-doctor relationship, it'll create a stronger, more unified bond. You know, the more patient active they are, you know, I was, or I could be. But like I'm going off tamoxifen supposedly, and I saw my oncologist, my primary care physician, an acupuncturist, and I'm getting a second opinion, you know, and so I want all of them to be able to read what all the other ones were suggesting for me on there. So I think it's great that you're going to have areas in here where you can scan your treatment notes and things like that. Because you honestly only have a limited time with these people.
Yep.
You know, so you have to make the most of it. Even though you can email people now. And yeah, I saw 4 different people and I have 3 different, you know, suggestions. So
Oh, yes.
yeah.
I'm familiar with that.
Yeah. Yeah. So what else would I like to see on here? I think it's a great tool. I mean, in terms of the numbers of questions, or you have an area where it's like your upcoming appointments, like is there a calendar in here where you can put things in?
That's what I know about.
And then
Hey, Jane, if based on your question you answer the profile,
Yeah.
so let's say 10 available evidence-based treatment options for you. And then now by default they're sorted by the level of confidence.
Mhm.
So like gold, silver. So let's say for top 5 all gold. And would you care about the one sorted by cost, by the duration of the treatment, etc. Or it doesn't matter for you. You will go through one by one. What do you
I don't
want
think it
to
would matter.
matter?
Yeah.
But
Especially if I was initially diagnosed, I don't think it would matter. You know.
Do you want her to wait up front? The next
No,
one?
I can get you started.
Yeah, I don't think it would matter necessarily.
Let's keep your comments.
But that's the level of competence probably the most important
Yes.
one, right?
Yeah. The gold thing. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how is that categorized? Like gold, silver, level of confidence? Is that through
That's
peer-to-peer?
Yeah, it's a combination of how the nursing performs against the population of users that are on it,
Mm-hmm.
and evidence-based trials and
Yeah.
FDA things like that. You
Sure.
know, I'm sure there's
Oh,
certain
okay.
things that, you know, carboplatin and vincristine work for some people that have brain tumors. Others it doesn't work at all. You know, so it's in some cases it's a crapshoot. But it still is a highly rated treatment,
Mm-hmm.
but it might not be 100% effective across the entire spectrum. So
Right.
it's sort of like, where does it fit, you know, against the population? Okay, this one performed this well this many times, that gets this standard. You know,
Got it.
studies find that this works with that
Got it.
sort of thing.
Got it. Yeah. So I think I would just to know what the standards were, I think would suffice.
Okay.
What
are the ratings based upon?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Who supported you during your treatment process, and would you want to share this type of information with them?
My spouse. Yeah, definitely. Especially when a lot of times they can't be there.
Mhm.
You know, it's like your spouse or your parent or whomever is your primary caregiver. Like in my case, you know, we were all working full time. So just to be able to have things auto update if someone's not able to go to an appointment, but they want to check in with something afterwards, if you have this commitment to the app, you know, and updating it consistently so that I think we're all on the same page at any given moment.
So we've actually baked that into the next release of the focus group we were talking about last time, and everyone's saying how you have a core support group.
Yeah.
So we notice at the beginning of the flow, you're selecting whether you're a patient,
Mm-hmm.
a caregiver, a guardian, or supporter.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on how the patient feels, you can designate different levels of security in
Right.
these profiles.
Good.
And you know, if their parents are far away, they can follow you on the app.
You can actually go on Facebook and see it too.
Yeah.
You want to
Yes, you
share it
can.
all?
If you want to do that, but
Sorry, that's so weird.
most people tell us it's weird. So we're building a
Mm.
closed community where, you know, privacy settings.
Yeah. Great.
Well, thank you very, very much for your
Thank you.
time
I
today.
hope that was helpful.
It's always very, very helpful.
You guys
for
are
us.
doing great work.